Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is nice enough today for me to not have a shirt on. Thinking about taking a picture of me half naked and using it as a thumbnail. What do you guys think? So it has been, it's been a crazy couple days, and you know, we're getting stuff done over here. I haven't had a chance to do too much filming, but I have to head out for a couple days, and I know it's going to be a while before I can post another video. So I figure what I do is real quick kind of walk you guys around, maybe show you a couple things that we did. I kind of can't even remember what I did show or didn't show. I know the last video was the parking pad, and we'll walk up and check that out. We did get the dirt delivered to fill in the garden bed. There was enough left to grade a little bit of the front of the property, like in front of the front door. I also spent one of the days using the dirt that we mixed up in the front to fill the garden beds. I'll take a walk down there too. I say garden beds. All it is a crate that the log splitter came in. But let's walk up, take a look, and I'll kind of move the camera around and show you guys a few things while I talk. All right, so you can see the beds all got filled in, or the bed. So we'll probably, you know, get planting on this when we're both back in town. We also took, like I said, that dirt that we had, I also leveled up here, I'll show you. But, you know, I took some of the dirt and then I reseeded as far down as I could go. It was kind of a pain in the butt to bring the wheelbarrow all down with dirt and then back up the hill, but reseeded all this. Hopefully this won't be a problem anymore now that the parking pad's here. And we're eventually going to make it so that the water runs this way and then down into the culvert and then down this way. So reseeded and hay mulched all this stuff, you know, just to see if we could get that kind of rocking and rolling. But yeah, I'm excited to start planting out this bed. And then you can see here, I know it's a little difficult to tell, but you know, basically we were all the way at the bottom of the hay bales. So as you can see going up, we were able to kind of grade a little bit out. And what that did was give a little lip on the other side so that when we put the driveway stone in, we got something to nest it up to. But yeah, we think it turned out really pretty. I know that we got some cool comments on the video when it went up, what we were excited about. But yeah, like I said, definitely a lot of stuff going on here. I tried to do a video yesterday. I started it about 50 times. And I don't know, I just got more frustrated each time I had to start it over, so I just stopped. I spent the last couple days in the house. It's going to be a little tough to tell. And basically what I was doing was installing all the baseboard trim, putting up door trim where I could. And then since Dayna and I are going to wind up closing our storage unit, the idea is really just to get the pantry and the 2 bedrooms finished, or like as close to finished as possible, so I don't have to make a mess in there necessarily. That way when we move everything from the storage unit up to the house, we can set our whole bedroom up with our bedroom set, the whole shebang, almost as if it's done, and we can start sleeping in there. And then the guest bedroom will kind of hold a lot of our stuff while we finish the great room. The pantry was the first thing that I finished the other day, so that we essentially can, when we bring up all our, you know, kitchen stuff, it can basically go in the pantry for now until the kitchen gets done. Our kitchen cabinets were like 10 weeks out or something, and that was about maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. And that was the second cabinet order. I don't really want to get into the kitchen cabinet stuff with you guys. I don't think we really talk too much, but we tried a couple companies, and we were with a company for about a week, and we were just not feeling really good about things. So we actually canceled the order, which I'm glad we were able to, because it just seemed real bad. But not so much the company, but after we placed the order, I just started to get some weird feelings about the delivery and back orders. And I think we said before, when you have a back order specialist, that probably should be your first indication that you have a problem. Anyway, the kitchen cabinets are still going to be maybe 5 weeks. So it's going to be a little while until we can get that installed, which means, you know, obviously no kitchen, no full-time living necessarily. But like I said, I spent the last couple days not only installing the baseboard, but we went back and caulked all the baseboard, filled all the nail holes. I went back with a little touch-up paintbrush and touched up all the baseboard. So like I said, they're pretty much done. I just have to wrap the windows in those 2 rooms, which most of those cuts will be outside. It'll just be a little bit of nailing and some touch-up paint and caulk when they're all, when the window, like in the actual bedroom. But I'll take you in. We'll walk around real quick. It is not pretty necessarily in there, but it's been really crappy outside, so I'm doing all my cuts inside. So now it just looks like, even though we cleaned the house, it just looks like a mess. So we'll walk in, I'll take you for a quick walk around, we'll come back out, and that'll be the end of this, all right? So let's roll up in and take a quick look. Thank you to our lovely family in NC for our pretty pink dogwood. We will be sure that this gets put right by Coda so that we and he have something pretty to look at all the time. So in here really didn't do much. Like I said, the tile still needs to go on the floor, so we're not really trimming in here too much until we're ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna do my best here. So you guys last saw that all the doors got installed. I think I was putting the trim up, maybe, or I had put the trim up. But we basically went back and I really focused on these 3 doors because the baseboard, you know, going out into the great room isn't done yet, so I don't really want to worry too much about these 2 doors right now. These 3 doors, you know, pretty much good to go as far as like now filled and ready for paint. But you can kind of see, you know, on the baseboard, I went back, we recaulked, or I keep saying recaulked, we caulked all the baseboard tops, and then we used glazing compound to fill the nail holes. Now, the only thing I didn't do in the hallway was go back and do the touch-up paint. I'm gonna wait until we finish the hallway to do that. But I did clean some of these bedrooms yesterday and close the doors because I was kind of done in here, and I was just gonna do that so that, you know, I didn't really continue to make a mess. But you can kind of see if I can show you some of the baseboard. Let's see if I can change the camera. All right. Let me show you some of the baseboard. I mean, it really turned out nice, and I can't say I love caulking, but gotta love it when there's a bubble behind the bed. But yeah, this turned out really pretty, and I'm very happy with the glazing compound to fill the holes. Sorry if that was a bad edit. So I've always just used caulk to fill the nail holes, and I know that can kind of shrink. The glazing compound's not supposed to. It worked out pretty well. It's not really a pain in the butt. I probably think using the caulk is faster, and you know, there's really not much to it. It's like holding Play-Doh in your hands and just kind of popping it in the holes, and then you got to wipe it off. What I found works really well if you're going to try or use some kind of glaze like the window glazing compound is when you fill the hole and then you brush it off and it's got all that little rough part, if you just use a ball in your hand of the glazing compound to wipe, it wipes it right off. So it was kind of nice. If you can hold it in one hand and kind of fill a hole, wipe it off, fill a hole, wipe it off, it goes pretty quickly. And then like I said, I went back and just touched it up with a really small paintbrush. But we did that room, and we also did this room. And I know it's just baseboard. That's probably why I didn't video too much. There's certainly cool videos out there that you can watch on how to do things, but you know, even behind the door stuff turned out fairly well that are small pieces. I mean, this one in particular, you know, I pre-drilled and tried to smack a nail in there and it's still split. So it's just glued and silicone and it looks really nice. I'm really happy with all that little stuff. But went back and filled the holes in the trim. So all this trim will need to get painted when the door jambs get painted. But so far so good. I mean, it's just a little bit at a time. I did wind up spray foaming all the windows. I know it looks like crap, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a pain in the butt actually. And I've used spray foam like a million times, even door and window, but I'm gonna have to go back on some of these and probably just use some insulation to kind of slide back there with a putty knife because it was a little bit snug on maybe one side. But for the most part, all the windows are pretty much taken care of. So when I'm back in town, really the first thing's gonna do is to pick up the 80 pieces of 1x that I'm gonna need to start wrapping the insides of these windows. I think it's gonna end up being like 40 cuts or 50 cuts or something like that. It shouldn't be too difficult, just a little bit time consuming. And then of course, all that punch list stuff to go back and caulk, nail holes, fill, putty, all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, that'll be the task that we kind of jump into when we come back here. And then hopefully a week after, maybe 2 tops, we'll go ahead and pick up the U-Haul truck so that we can go down and empty the storage unit, bring it up and start moving some stuff in here. But this is also, I know it's a little tough to see, but this is what we did, or what we're doing sort of in the pantry. Right now still has the Stark Brothers trees. I don't really think I showed you guys. Really all I did was just mount the hot water tank, or the tankless heater. I'll plumb that in over the next, week or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, who cares? But put some black wire shelving together. This is what we're really going to use for the pantry right now. And then we have some things that the storage unit that will also go in here. But finished all the baseboard, finished the back of the door. Pretty much got this room tip top, other than, some minor connections here. And then we have a nice big can holder that we're going to build for that side of the wall. But all the baseboard's done. Everything's pretty much swept up and ready to rock and roll. Really what we're going to wind up having to do the most of is come back and paint the door trim, but we'll wait until all that stuff's up, shot in, and ready to rock and roll. But that's kind of where we're at right now. There's a million things going on. I just watched the Living Traditions video where they had taken 2 weeks off, and God bless you. God bless you. I mean, seriously, for the cats that put videos out every day or every other day, I hope it's that you have a partner or, 10 kids that are helping you videotape and get some of these jobs accomplished. I keep saying to my wife, we'd have been in here 6 months ago if I wasn't videotaping for YouTube. But I was watching a Living Traditions Homestead video this morning, and it was nice to hear them take 2 weeks off. But at the same time, what I laughed at was they're like, we have a million projects going on, and, getting ready for spring and garden and all that kind of stuff, chores, it's just endless. And I could not agree more. And they also said, what I don't hear often, but I feel, is that they were doing so much, but it just wasn't worthy of, let's say, a full-on video. That's why a lot of times you'll see me kind of overthrow stuff over. It's not worth making a whole video over me shoveling dirt necessarily. Or is it? But yeah, it was just kind of cool to hear them say they've got a million things going on. And I know everybody else does too, but sometimes I'm just amazed at, just the accomplishments and what people can get finished off in a hot minute. I don't know, maybe when they do the videos, it makes it look like it happened in 30 seconds, but it really took 2 months. I always think of Jason Crocker, man. My boy can put out a video every 30 minutes. It's amazing. And watching one of his Coffee with the Crockers a few weeks back, that I felt for him because he's got a long drive to his new property and back. And I felt for him because I think I was coming up to this property, which is a 3.5-hour drive, 1 weekend a month, if not 2, when we first got it, to clear and work. And so for about 4 years, I did that. And yeah, that alone would tire you out. And of course, now we're here, and that just means that I'm here all the time. So it's just work all the time. And yeah, I don't know, man. God bless him. I don't know how he does all the work and that stuff, and still is able to put out, a video, like I said, every day, if not more than every day, if it's on one of his multiple channels. And I will make it down to Shoot Dang Fest next year, if there is one. I felt like I really fit in there, man. I saw some pictures, and it was no running shoes and warm-up pants. It was my deal. All skate shoes, baby. I love it. Yeah. Hopefully, if you guys do another Shoot Dang Fest, man, ShabinLife will be down there. But yeah, I always love my boy Jason because he's like the epitome of hard work on YouTube, man. You can tell just how much effort that dude puts into his channel, and it tells. I mean, it's grown crazy over the last couple of years. And obviously now with his brother moving down and his new girl and all that kind of stuff, I'm super happy for him, man. He seems like he's doing really well, and I'm really stoked for him. Plus, he's got, 60 acres? Can't beat that, right? So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what's up here now. We've got a million things going on. When I come back, it'll just be pick up where we left off. But in the mix of that, we cleared so much over last season, just putting in septic systems and regrading that, I forget. I've got 2 extra acres now probably to mow. So, it's things like that. When I come back, the lawn's going to be a foot tall and ready to get brush cut. So we'll have to kind of add mowing onto the list. And, each thing you have to do outside is just one more thing that takes you away from finishing the project that you are working on. Not to mention the fact I still have to build an entire building behind the house that's going to house our solar, which means I don't have electric unless I run off generator until that happens. So even though we might move in here, I think we're gonna be relying on the Shabin for a little while until we get everything rocking and rolling. Speaking of which, I spent this morning with my local internet provider, which is awesome. I don't really want to say who it is or anybody's name or anything like that, but we were lucky enough last year that Pennsylvania during certain times gave out grant money, and where I'm at wound up getting a large chunk of that grant money to extend their network out into our county, which was really far. And I'm at probably the farthest. Anyway, I've been having some troubles with my internet over the last maybe 3-4 weeks, and it's nothing super crazy, but the guy who services stuff is just crazy busy, and I really like him. He's a super awesome dude. But he came out this morning to kind of check things out, and we wind up just, checking things out in 10 minutes and then hanging out for 2 hours. But we talked the other day about his tower, and he basically has, multiple, let's say, phases, for those of you, let's say, who point directly at the tower, some people that might have some obstructions in the tower. And then this other phase that he's kind of gotten to get into is basically can just go through brick walls. So ultimately, a guy like me that might be having some interference may not have that once they get the phase 3 done. What was cool was when he was here yesterday kind of checking things out, we were talking for a little bit, and I met him this morning at the tower to do a little bit of work with him, which was awesome. And I'll pop him a picture here of the tower. Super awesome dude. We definitely checked everything out. But the reason why I mention this is that I'm still having a little bit of internet problems, but that phase 3 is like so around the corner that I really just told my boy, don't even worry about me right now. I can use the hotspot for just, streaming, but when we get an opportunity to do that 100 foot climb, we're going to change it. We're going to start up that phase 3, and hopefully I'll get a new antenna for the outside of the house, and I won't have as many problems. The good thing about that is that I'll be able to upload from the Shabin. The last one that I did for you guys took 3.5 days. I used to go to the local library, but it took like 5-6 hours to load at their place, and I love the library, but I don't know if they want me sitting there for 6 hours, especially when I probably smell from not taking a shower for a week. But I did find a place locally to me that's kind of like a membership place that has like a crazy internet speed where you can kind of go in there and do uploads and stuff like that. So I may actually look into that for a little bit to get some videos out a little bit quicker until I can get the internet here sorted out. So that's another reason why I was like, you know what, I'm going to head out for a couple days. Let me at least talk to you guys, let you know what's going on. And, that way, if it ends up being another week or two before I can get something on tape, you guys get to watch something or kind of see where we're at before we take off, and then where we'll pick up when we come back. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys now. I mean, I did a ton over the last probably week or so that I can't even remember. And like I said, I'm sure I videoed some of it, but it's all good. I'll walk back out to the front real quick before we jump off, and we can just talk while I walk. So I'm just happy that the sun is out. It's been a long time since I didn't have a sweatshirt and a Carhartt jacket on. And really, I only don't have a shirt on because I cut my hair this morning. And when I went to put my shirt on, it was just itchy. And then even worse than that, I flung the shirt over my head and I hit a fly trap on the ceiling, and the fly trap came off the ceiling and stuck to my back. Have you ever had that happen to you? It's not too bad if you get something sticky on you like honey or like fly glue, but when it's in the middle of your back and no one's here, how do you get it off? I should have videotaped that. Look like a circus performer trying to actually use like a sponge and soap to lean up against the 2x4 and wash my back. So anyway, here is that's the log splitter crate that we filled with the dirt for a raised bed this year. Handful of pots. There's still some more over here that we're going to fill up for maybe the other side. But again, we're not trying to go nuts. A couple tomato plants, a couple pepper plants, maybe some zucchini and squash, and just have a little bit of fun before we get rocking and rolling way up on the, where the real garden's going to be. But yeah, a lot of seeding, straw, just trying to get things cleaned up. You guys, I don't know if you even saw the hay wall, all finished up. And, basically, like I said before, this is going to where the rock for the driveway is going to nest into. And then basically the modified stone will kind of just roll up into here. And this is basically walking you right into the orchard. So when I come back, that'll be one of the next videos, is planting all the trees now that we're past, I think, the last frost. we should be in good shape. But you know what it's like to come out, scratch this all up, drop seed, drop dirt, hay, scratch, drop seed, you know, all that kind of stuff takes time, and nobody really wants to watch you do that. But yeah, this is where we're at, and this is what's going on, and we're pretty happy. Yeah, so that's it, I think. If I can think of something fun, I'll pop back on here and tell you. But other than that, same old, just living, right? Just living, which is pretty awesome. And get to go see my mom and dad for a couple days, my brother and my sister, which is pretty awesome. Get to see my other mom and dad, celebrate some birthdays, celebrate some Mother's Days. It's gonna be a good time. But to everybody that's been following along since the beginning, God bless you, because I know sometimes it's boring. But I do appreciate it, and I hope that maybe what we're doing is encouraging you to just think about what you want out of life. I don't know. I had a really great conversation with my boy from the internet company this morning just about life, just about living. And I just told him that's what we're doing. We're living, man. We're living here, and we're loving it. And we haven't even really gotten started. So as we continue to kind of rock and roll here, I think it'll get even better. And for those of you who've been watching, since this was just a raw piece of land I couldn't pull more than 50 feet in that driveway. You know, like I said, this was everything you see, other than maybe the septic. I mean, this is us. This was years and years of just chainsaw, brush hog, you know, building a house from scratch, you know, so it can be done. Yeah. And if you have YouTube, you can do anything. But for those of you who are just checking out the channel now, feel free to subscribe. Continue to stop back, man. We're going to do some cool stuff. I've said before, we're not really a how-to. Sometimes I feel like if I was a how-to video or a channel, which I did think about kind of starting, because some of these things that we do in the house I think are pretty awesome, and I skip right over them because it's part of like a big part of the video. But, you know, I was kind of laughing the other day when I was trying to do a video for you guys, and I kept saying about caulking the baseboard and the glazing compound, the window glazing compound to fill the holes. You know, I was basically saying, like, there's a million videos out on YouTube to watch, or just out on the internet to watch how to do this stuff. Then I think to myself, I had to watch like 6 or 7 videos on certain things that I've done just to find like the 1 or 2 things from each video that I liked. Then I'd piece that all together, and then that's how I did it. And that's kind of been my whole life, you know what I mean? If I like something, I'll find every way you can do it. Then I'll pick each thing out of those ways that I like, I'll put it together, and then that'll be mine. So you try and just make it perfect by picking out all the perfect things from everybody else. You don't have to recreate the wheel, just try and make the wheel really strong. Anyway, for those of you who are just stopping by for the first time, thanks you so much for checking out the channel. Hopefully you got a little something out of it. Hopefully you laughed a little bit. Hopefully you'll check back on the next video. But until then, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I hope it's sunny where you are too. And yeah, stay awesome, man. Peace.